All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in again for another Authors Impact Hub podcast. I am your host, Juanita Woodson, founder of the Authors Impact Hub, and we have been going really strong with our author Q&A. I've been having some impactful authors on to share a little bit about their writing journey, their personal background, and then also sharing some tips with aspiring authors on what they can do to write and publish their own books. So tonight we have Jvonne Bell on with us, and we're going to learn a little bit more about her background and her book. So I always let authors do their own introduction. So Jvonne, I'm going to pass the floor to you.
All right, thank you. So, like she said, I'm Jvonne Bell. I am located in Aiken, South Carolina, but originally from Springfield, South Carolina. I have a daughter who's 10. Her name is Riley. This is my first self-published book, so I'm super excited about My Last Breath. And I'm also a career woman. I work in corporate America, and I also do makeup as well.
Awesome. Yes, you wear a lot of hats, right? So you're a mom,
Yeah.
career woman, makeup
Mhm.
artist, all the things, and now an author, right? So
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit real quick. So how does it feel to be a first-time published author?
Listen, it feels amazing. Like I was so nervous in the beginning of people reading my story and just being so vulnerable. But it feels amazing. Like all of the love and support that I've been getting thus far. I'm still just taking it all in, but it feels great.
Yes, awesome. Well, congratulations on your new book. So,
Thank you.
your book, My Last Breath, right? Tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about the purpose behind the book. Why did you write that story?
So the purpose behind My Last Breath was to get my story out there. I am someone who is a two-time autoimmune disease fighter and survivor. So I have scleroderma and I also have lupus. And so 2 years ago, my health took a complete turn for the worse to where I actually took my last breath.
Hmm.
And it was literally the fight of my life. But being within that fight, it made me realize that I had a story to tell because I went through all of the feels from anxiety, depression, the suicidal thoughts, just not feeling worthy of living, having to relearn everything all over again. I just felt like somebody needed to hear my story to know that no matter what you go through and how hard life can get, always pull yourself back up.
Yes, yes, I love that. And we're thankful that you're here to be able to
Thank you.
share your story and encourage others who are
Yeah.
facing the same thing that you face or no, have a loved one who has faced the same thing. So, what was it like writing about your experience?
It was so emotional, so hard. Like there were so many days that I wanted to just like not do it at all. Um, I literally had to push myself to want to open up. I had to have a therapist also during that writing process because I knew that there were some things that I hadn't uncovered yet mentally. And having the therapist there with me during that writing process made it a lot easier and it made it comfortable for me to speak about things that I probably didn't want to talk about in the book that I did.
Okay.
But that journey was extremely hard. It reopened all of the wounds. It gave me all of the feels, and to know that my readers are telling me, I felt like I was there with you, and that's what I was going for. But it was extremely hard.
Yeah. So, and you're the first person, right? I've done so many interviews. You're the first person that has said to me they had a therapist there in the room with.
Yes.
Do you think that you could have
Yes.
went through the process of writing without having a therapist there with you?
I could have went through the process, but it wouldn't have gotten my book wouldn't be as good as it is.
Okay.
Because a lot of the times when I was speaking about my story, she would ask me different questions that I never really thought of.
I like that.
And within that process, it helped me bring out emotions, bring out even parts of the stories that I never even thought of, like things that I still need to go back to therapy for that I haven't healed from that I didn't even know was there. So having her there was definitely beneficial towards my story and helping me get this book out.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So,
Hmm.
know that when you're writing, you're talking about personal things that you have gone through, things that you thought like you were over, it was done with, but then it's like you put
Yes.
it on paper, so you're kind of reliving that again. So
Yes.
outside of having to like relive certain trauma, what
Mhm.
other challenges did you face when writing your book, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Um, the challenge that I did face was whether or not I wanted to actually publish the book. Um, when I went back during that whole entire process, I didn't read the book. Like as I was writing, I would do those chapters and I would, proofread that and let that be, but I would never read it as a whole.
Okay.
So when I finally finished it and I went back and I read it as a whole, I was just like, oh, I don't know if I want to put that out there. I
Okay.
don't know if I want people to know my true feelings, my deepest thoughts, and everything that I've been through. So it was definitely a challenge for me at one point to decide whether I want the book to actually be published. That was a huge thing that I faced.
Okay. Deciding to publish it. And I know a lot of times like we get through the writing process and it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. It's over and done. I got through that process. I relived it. I feel like I'm healed from it. So what was that moment? And I think you touched on this earlier. What was that moment that like gave you that push? Like, okay, no, I need to go forward with publishing the book.
To be honest with you, it was the therapist, it was my family, my friends. Only the closest people to me knew that I was actually writing a book. So when I finally told like my mom that I was finished, she was just like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to read it." And
Yeah.
she was like, one thing that she made me realize was that we've all watched you go through this journey, but we never knew how you saw it.
Yeah.
So the fact that she was just like, I can't wait to read it from your point of view of what you experienced. Because for a while in those hospitals, like I was in 4 or 5 different facilities and I was paralyzed and I wasn't able to speak. So a lot of times they didn't know how I felt, even though I was in my right mind. So
Yeah.
she was just excited to read it from my point of view. So that was something I was like, you know what? It needs to be told. It needs to
Yeah.
be told.
Definitely. So what was the experience like? Because I know that you're a mom, right? So
Mhm.
going through facing two autoimmune diseases and at the same time still having to be a parent, what was that experience like for you? If you're able to share that.
Oh yeah, it's hard. It's really hard because I'm battling one disease that mainly affected my skin and my connective tissue. So it's a lot of scarring, a lot of discoloration. It also affects my lungs, and then you have the lupus that comes in and just takes over everything. So it's
Okay.
it's extremely hard because I have an active child. So it's like, and I was once a very active person as well, and I still try to be.
Yeah.
So battling those two autoimmune diseases to where I'm always tired, I'm always feeling weak, my body's always hurting. And I'm constantly having to go to doctor's appointments. I'm having to take all these different medications. It's a lot. And having the kid that I have, she's so supportive, so supportive. Sometimes I feel like she's the parent,
Oh,
she's always on me like, Mom, did you take your medicine? What the doctors are saying, she's like my little nurse. And of course, by her watching her mother lay in that bed for so long and not being able to speak to her, not being able to touch her or tell her what's happening or why it's happening, there was a lot of trauma that she experienced. So that's like my right hand, but living with two autoimmune diseases and being a mom on top of working and just doing everyday life, it's a struggle. But I've always been strong. I've always been a fighter, and I've always been one to just push through whatever is happening, no matter what it is.
yes. And that's a testament to your faith, right? To be able to keep showing up, right? No matter what you're facing. So how much did your daughter, I know you said she's your right hand, how much did she inspire you to write your book?
Oh my goodness, she was the reason for it all. The why for everything. Even when I was in the hospital and I was just like ready to give up once I came out of my coma and I found out that I was paralyzed, I was just like, I do not want to live like this. And at that moment, I've already had a stroke. I had brain hemorrhage, seizures, all kinds of stuff was happening with my body. And I completely lost track of the fact that I'm a mom. when I came out of that coma. And when my mom came in the room and she was like, "You got to fight for Riley," and it was just like a light bulb just switched.
Yeah.
And from that very moment, I knew everything that I did going forward was definitely for her, because I want to be here to see her grow up. So she's the reason for it
Yes.
all.
Yes, definitely. I love that. And so, what about community, right? So, I
Mm.
can imagine how strong of a community you have to have surrounding you and then also your daughter. How has that support been for you?
Oh my God. If I can say anything, I have the best support system. Like, I literally was in the hospital for 3 months. I went in on my birthday and I came out right before Thanksgiving. And every single day, the waiting room was packed.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about how my daughter would get her school clothes or how she would get to school or who would help her with her homework or activities or anything. Like, my village literally stepped in and just took over as if nothing happened. So I didn't miss a beat on anything. I didn't feel like nobody was looking for me, nobody cared about me. I literally had round the clock support.
Yes, I love that. Community is
Hmm.
so important, right? And I talk a lot about like I'm a mom as well.
Hmm.
So just when you think about raising your children, being a career person, right?
Yes.
Being an entrepreneur, and then you add the hat of being an author, how supportive is your community in your authorship now?
Oh, they are amazing. Like, it's not a person that I don't know that hasn't bought the book. Even
Yeah.
my mom, like, she came and took the very first copy that I got, and I was just like, "Oh my goodness, can I have something?" But they've been so supportive. Like, they're always making posts on social media talking about the book, how much they love the book, how much they didn't know exactly what I was going through, and all of those good things. So they've been super supportive, and they've been sharing it. They've been buying it for other people. Like, they've been amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So in your book, you talk about the importance of belief and hope. So how did your faith play a
Ooh,
role in you writing your book and then even making it through this amazing journey, right? So you are a survivor. So we're gonna call it an amazing journey because you are still
yes.
here.
Hmm. So my faith, and it's funny that you mentioned that, because within the book I do go into details about how for a long time I lost my faith, and it wasn't just because I didn't believe in God. It was just life things happening. I'm losing all of these very important people, and I'm just like, well, why would you take these people from me? The people
Okay.
that raised me in the church and taught me about God and made me know the Bible front to back. So within this journey, I've learned how to reconnect with God. I used to always ask him to show me who you are. And you have to be very careful with your words, because your words are important and they carry weight.
Yes.
So before I went in the hospital, I'm always like, just show me who you are, show me who you are. And literally, he laid me down, took the life out of me, restored me, and brought me even closer to him, and came and brought me back with my purpose. Like, I never knew what my purpose was until I
Listen.
went through what I did.
Yes.
And I have a clear understanding of what my assignment is. So my faith is everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And everything that I've been through and everything that he's brought me through, it's just amazing.
Yes, you said something so powerful, so powerful. So I don't even think that I was prepared for the answer because sometimes we go through things and we think about like how hard it is, but
Hmm.
when you have your faith, right? And when you
Yeah.
sometimes lose your faith and you're like, God, show me who you are. Like you said, be careful with what you ask for because he will show
Hmm.
us. But deep down, you still had that trust in him.
I
When
did.
you came back a new person. You came back like rebirth, fresh,
Hmm.
walking in your purpose and being able to tell your story, tell your testimony with a smile on your face, right? Where most
Yeah.
people wouldn't be able to sit here, right? Let alone publish a book, write through all of that, and then be able to have
Yeah.
to constantly, because when you write your book, you're marketing your book
Hmm.
too, so you have to share your testimony over and over again.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing too. Like, on social media, I've gained the courage to post the pictures and post different videos of, like, me walking for the first time, or me having the trach taken out of my throat, or even coming out of the coma and realizing where I'm at. I post all of those things on my pages, just so people can get an idea of what that journey was truly like. Because it's one thing to speak about it, but if people can actually see it, they're
Yes.
just like, ain't no way you here. Like, what? So even when I was when I came out of my coma, the very first thing I could do was move my lips. And I would smile every day. And people would look at me like I'm crazy, like, why are you smiling, not even knowing if you're gonna be here tomorrow? Like I felt so good, even though I was so bad. I felt so good.
Okay. So you were going through something that is like a connection between you and God that nobody else will even be able to imagine because they didn't
Yeah.
experience it. Yes, I love that. I appreciate you
Yeah.
for even just being able to share that.
Hmm.
Like really encouraged and motivated by you just saying that alone. Just in some of the
Thank
things that
you.
I've experienced myself. And it's just like
Hmm.
you go through things for a purpose, but when
We
you trust
do.
God, He's going, you get renewed and
Yeah, and having that
walk in your purpose.
Yeah, and having that out of body experience, like after I actually took my last breath, it just showed me everything that I needed to see,
Yeah.
to know, because I was always one of those people that was afraid of death. But seeing everything that I've saw and experienced, I'm just like, yeah, he is who he say he is.
Yes, yes. Ooh, that's amazing. So, what, if you can share, what type of advice would you give for someone who may be facing some of the same health challenges that you have faced? Because you're a survivor, you've made it.
Oh yeah, I would definitely tell any of my people that are suffering from any type of autoimmune disease that deals with like all of your organs, any connective tissue, arthritis, tendonitis, Raynaud's, keep your body active. The
Mm,
more that you move your body, if you're able to, the better your body will be, the better your blood flow will circulate, creating those good movements for you. Because by me being in the gym, I'm trying to be in the gym every day, but at least about 4 or 5 times a week. By me just moving my body, it keeps it loose. And I'm
okay.
able to enjoy life a little bit better versus when I wasn't doing anything and I would just be in pain all day, every day. So I would say move your body, don't pay too much attention to what people say about you or how people look at you because you look different. Stay true to yourself, walk around with a smile on your face, know that God is who he said he is, and just live your life and enjoy it.
Yes, definitely. I love that. I love that reminder to get in the gym because I needed that for myself. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Hmm.
So, what advice would you give to someone who is considering writing a book about their own personal struggles and overcoming some of the similar things or, just their own struggles?
Yeah. I would say do it. Do not think about it for a second. Do it. Because you don't know how many people you can touch with your story. Everybody has a story. And your story can help so many people. Like I've gotten so many emails, so many messages about how people didn't know about different facilities, where could they take their loved ones that are suffering from things that I went through. Like you never know who you can help and who's watching you.
Yeah.
So if you want to be an author, do it. The sky's the limit.
Yes, I love that. And your
Mhm.
purpose is not just for you. So you could have just kept your experience to yourself and to your family and not share it with the world and, be on here even talking to me about it, but somebody's going to be motivated by
Oh
your
yeah.
story and sharing it. So
Oh yeah.
how does that feel when you talk about your experiences?
It feels amazing because I can just remember those times where I went in the coma and it was just pitch black, almost like the movie Get Out when he was falling. You're just laying there in the dark, and then one day you just come back.
Yeah.
I remember when my mom told me that the doctors gave me 14 days to live,
Oof.
and the machines didn't move until the 14th day. So my story has so many gems, so many things that people can learn, um especially about faith, because so many times I was written off. Like my mom switched hospitals, I don't know, maybe 4 times because the doctors gave up. So this book is definitely one for the future. I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
amazing, and anybody that supports it, I appreciate it.
Yes, definitely. So, do you have any future projects that you may be working on?
No, not at the moment. I'm just trying to figure out my way of being more of a motivational speaker, how to be an advocate even more for scleroderma and also lupus,
Yeah.
to get those names out there even more. Because a lot of people, lupus is very common. A lot of people know about lupus, but not a lot of people know about scleroderma. So
Yeah.
I want to be a bigger advocate.
Yes. Okay. And you know what? You can do it. You're already doing it. I'm inspired by your testimony
Thank
already. So
you.
I know that other people will be too. So if you can share with us, how can we connect with you on social media? How can we order
Hmm.
the book? That's very important. We want to make sure that we do support and then share the word with other people as well.
Absolutely. So you guys can follow me on Facebook at Jvonne Bell, and that's Jvonne. B as in boy, ELLE. Also on Instagram at Jvonne_J. My book, My Last Breath by Jvonne Bell, can be purchased on Amazon, Books a Million, Walmart, Apple Bookstore. Um, I'm missing one.
Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble. There we go.
Yes, yes. Well, I definitely appreciate having you on. You share some gems already, so I know the book is packed with gems, so we want to make sure you
Hmm.
go grab that. So I always ask one final question,
Hmm.
right? So what impact do you want your book and your author brand to leave on the world?
I want my book to I want my book to heal the world if it can, to let people know that even despite of there's always hope. As long as you have some type of faith and you hold on to it, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Never give up on yourself. And I want my book to heal. I want it to heal because it took me a long time to heal. So I want my book to heal.
Yes, definitely. And it will because your words do. Your words have ignited something in me tonight. And I was like, whoo, that was for me. Yes. So
Thank you.
yes, I appreciate you joining. So, listeners, thank you for tuning in for another podcast episode. Make sure that you connect with Jvonne on social media, order her book, share it with a friend. You definitely want to. You'll be inspired. I was inspired tonight just by having her on and hearing a few words that she did share. So I know that you'll be motivated too. Make sure that you like, subscribe, leave us a comment. Share this
Mhm.
episode with a friend, a family member. We want to make sure that Jvonne's words, they make the impact across the world that they're supposed to. Thank you for joining. Take care.
Thanks, guys.